Just perusing through the vineyards towards Ridge Winery up ahead, where I'm going to meet John Olney, and he's going to tell me a little bit about these supposedly famous vines here that apparently are somewhere around 100 years old. Pleased to meet you, John, and thanks for the invite to Ridge here. This is another unique winery, I understand. You guys have some history at a secondary location, from what I hear.
Well, yeah, actually, Ridge Vineyards began back in the late 50s and became a commercial winery in 1962, and it began in the Santa Cruz Mountains. So that's actually our original facility above what's now Silicon Valley. And
it began on a ridge.
Yeah.
This is no last name of somebody. This is Ridge has a name from a ridge.
Right. It is the Montebello Ridge, and Ridge started making wines in a way where it was all about the place. It was all about the site, rather than, for example, a given varietal.
Okay.
So one of our first wines was the Montebello, which is our Cabernet-based wine. Okay. And then from there, we started exploring throughout the 60s and 70s, finding some great small vineyards, very old vines, much like the one we're standing in.
Oh, excellent. Now you do have a mix here of Zin and Petit Syrah.
Yeah. The way they used to plant vineyards, and this vineyard is turn of the last century, so these are 100-year-old vines, is they didn't just plant one single varietal.
Okay.
They actually planted, in this case, about 70% Zinfandel with Petit Syrah and a few other grapes like Carignan and Mourvedre mixed in.
But why is that? Why would you choose to do that?
It's generally accepted that the idea was Zinfandel is not a light-colored grape, but it's certainly not as intense as something like Cabernet. So Petit Syrah, which has a lot of color and tannin, sort of brought that together. They sort of did the blending in the vineyard as opposed to doing the blending in the winery.
Lytton Springs. What's this? What's this all about? Is that like the wine at Ridge?
Yeah. That's the wine that we make here, okay, at this facility, and we're in Lytton Springs Vineyard. So the wine comes from the grapes that are only grown in this vineyard, which is really in keeping with the philosophy of Ridge, where we started out and still are, is it's all about the place. For example, it's very common to pick up a bottle of wine and it'll say Cabernet Sauvignon, or it'll say Zinfandel, or whatever that grape variety is. In other words, identifying wines by the grape variety as opposed to where it comes from. Right. When we go inside, we'll grab a bottle of Lytton Springs. You'll see on the label, all it says is Ridge Lytton Springs, as opposed to the varietal. Because the idea is the place is much more important than what the varietal happens to be.
So the place, if that place grows this grape that's delicious, in some, whatever it is, you're like, that's the grape we're going to use. It's not quite like a Zin or quite like a Petit. It's kind of just what this ground here grows, and let's name it that. Can we go?
Yeah. Why don't we go see? Yeah, let's go see what that wine's all about.
Outstanding.